Looking upwards, astronomers have been observing ordered star systems and galactic algorithms for centuries, never deviating from the plan for a second. But in the depths of the macrocosm, there are objects that do not fit into the framework of schemes and rules. They float in complete silence and darkness, occasionally interrupted by the blinding light of stars. They are eternal wanderers of the universe, unable to find a shelter in any of its corners, the rogue planets.
Hubble.
Since the early 90s of the last century, there has been a hunt for space nomads. As a result, astrophysicists found about 100 billion orphan planets in the Milky Way alone. The object's primary feature is its lack of residence in any star system. A rogue planet orbits a galactic nucleus or travels through deep space without gravitational binding. Independent quasi-planets come in three types: rocky objects, gas celestial bodies, and brown dwarfs. The first is super-Earths. It is believed that they constitute the majority of the rogues. The mass of an object does not exceed 10 Earth masses. Nomad gas giants can reach 13 masses of Jupiter and share a similar structure. The third type of rogues are formally classified as stars, although they are actually planets. These are brown and sub-brown dwarfs. They are heavier than the upper mass limit of gas giants and do not reach the minimum mass of stars. Therefore, it is impossible to start nuclear reactions in the interior of brown dwarfs. Failed heavenly bodies are formed from interstellar gas clouds compressed by their own gravitational forces. Astronomers do not believe in the autonomous formation of wandering planets. They believe that Earth-like and gaseous celestial bodies are initially formed in stellar systems. However, after surviving a cataclysm, they can decay from orbit and enter free flight. What does the unknown world of rogue planets look like? Is life possible on its surface? Theses based on computer modeling do not exclude such an option. Super-Earths are the most entertaining of the three types mentioned and are potential hosts for extraterrestrial life. However, some gas giants can also be interesting. At first glance, the fate of wandering worlds is unenviable. Planets traveling all alone. No one is bound to them. No one warms them. They don't know the seasons or the alternation of day and night, but there is a chance that they are inhabited. If the assumption that space orphans are born in a fully formed star system is correct, it means that the young planet was warmed by the parent heavenly body's rays for a period of time. So life could have developed on the celestial body. The question is, will it survive when the object's status changes? Let's look at the transformation of a planet with a residency into an exile. The process resembles the scenario of a star gradually fading away. The planet's surface cools rapidly. The temperature steadily drops to between 230 and 270 degrees centigrade. Oceans turn into ice arenas. The atmosphere settles to the surface of a celestial body to find its final resting place there. So it's game over? Is the planet transformed into a lifeless wasteland? But is it absolutely dead? Not always. If the orphan planet has enough hydrogen in its atmosphere, then when ejected from the parent system, the surface of the celestial body will not cool significantly due to the greenhouse effect and the cessation of heat exchange. All of this, combined with geothermal activity in the subsurface, would create quite tolerable conditions for life: liquid water, an atmosphere, and an optimal temperature. We can say with certainty about the Earth-type celestial bodies that once became outcasts and carried life on board, there is definitely still a chance for its preservation. The hot core will keep the oceans from freezing and keep the planet active, preventing the celestial body from turning into a useless piece of rock. Among other things, Proponents of the optimistic scenario cite Europe as an example. Frozen moon of our gas giant under the centuries-old thickness of ice supposedly hides an inhabited ocean. So, rogue planets may well be surrounded by habitable moons similar to Europa. Except it's useless to look for dolphins or giant stingrays in their waters. The energy of the neighboring planet is enough only for the emergence of microscopic colonies. Scientists say that the mechanism of tidal forces of gas giants can work on a long-term basis. The temperature will begin to decline only as radiation resources are exhausted, which is tens of billions of years. Moons are also capable of feedback. If the masses of the satellite and quasi-planet are roughly the same as those of the Earth and the Moon, the latter will constantly stimulate the former, periodically cheering it up and activating geological processes. An interesting idea expressed David Stevenson, a professor at the California Institute of Technology. Scientists believe that such sources of life as wandering gas giants should not be dismissed. Let's illustrate the theory with the example of Jupiter. The temperature of its core is about 20,000 degrees centigrade. Consequently, in the thickness of the atmospheric layers is sure to find a zone where the thermometer will show about the same as on the surface of the Earth. This will create the conditions for microorganisms to form, and it doesn't matter that the gas giants don't allow them to land. Bacteria don't require that. They may well live on the surface of the aerosol particles of a rogue planet. And the last assumption, the oceans of space wanderers are real candidates for the habitat of living organisms by analogy with terrestrial geothermal sources. At their bottoms can develop a whole ecosystem based on fossil resources and underwater volcanoes. It's practically a paradise for protozoa. On top of the ice dome, reliably protecting from unfavorable external influences, and below is a warm planetary furnace. But if a representative of intelligent life from the outside were to find himself in such a place, it would seem to him a hellish ice sarcophagus, from the bowels of which there is no way out. The further destiny of such living corners, senselessly flying through the vacuum wasteland, is sad. Sooner or later, the planet's core will cool down, the ocean will freeze and bury the creatures living in it forever. The most unfortunate thing is that all the generations once born and dying in this subglacial realm will never know of the existence of a larger universe beyond their own microcosm. Soon, interstellar travelers will no longer be invisible. The microlensing process has been perfected, and Earth scientists are detecting outcasts more and more often. But if such a visitor flies into the solar system, catastrophe cannot be avoided. The planet would disturb comets in the Oort cloud, and the Earth could be sprinkled with deadly rain. The hunt for rogue planets is a pipe dream for the average citizen, but look at them at least through the eyes of our channel. Subscribe, comment, vote with likes. Avalanche of interesting releases is on the way. Comments from the previous video.